When I saw this kit, I was like, geez, it's one of the coolest kits I've ever had the chance to wear in my career.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to One Soccer. I'm your host for today, Josh Deming, joined by my colleague, Alex Gonge-Ruzic, and our special guest for today, Ben Fisk. Ben, how you doing today?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. Looking forward to chatting with you. My first question, I just want to simply ask, how good does it feel to be back in Vancouver after being gone for so long?
Oh, man, how much time do you have? Yeah, I mean, it's home, right? I spent my whole adult life really bouncing around to different places. So pretty special to be back close to family and friends. The running joke's been I've seen my mom probably more in the last 2 months than the previous 10 years combined. So those who know me have heard that one already, but some of the public probably hasn't. But that honestly kind of sums it up for me. Just being able to spend, like casual time with the people I love, right? Not just when I come home for Christmas and that sort of thing. It's pretty special.
Ben, before we look forward to an exciting season that awaits you guys with Vancouver FC, we kind of wanted to look back. We kind of wanted to start. You had the chance to come through the Whitecaps system over a decade ago. What was it like kind of beginning your pro career on that side of things at the time of burgeoning MLS club and the Whitecaps? What was that whole experience like playing near close to home?
Yeah, it was really cool. And I mean, now having the opportunity to come back and play at home, I think really illuminates that experience, right? Because I was with the Whitecaps organization during the transition from the USL to MLS. And as a young player coming through, I remember the first MLS game at Empire Field in East Vancouver, where I grew up, like pretty iconic moment to be a part of. And it was later that year that I started training with the first team and everything. So until that moment, all I'd really dreamt about was playing overseas in Europe. And then that day, genuinely, I started to think, wow, how cool would it be to play professionally at home, right? So I'm lucky now I've gotten to kind of, chase my dreams and adventure in different spots around the world and now get to come home and do it here.
So, Ben, we're going to focus a little bit on your Canada days. Obviously, you played for Canada at the U20 level, the U23, scored a couple goals there. You have 2 caps for Canada. So I'm just curious to hear about your experience from what you remember with the national team.
Yeah, I mean, that you talk about dreams coming true. That was a big one for me. Would have liked to, of course, have a few more caps at the senior team, but don't count me out just yet. Only 31. I think my best years are ahead of me still. So we'll never ever shut the door on that dream. But when all is said and done, if my career is where it's at, and that is my experience with Canada, I'm incredibly proud to have had that opportunity to don the Canadian shirt. My mom still got it framed up at her place from my debut there. It's, again, things you just dream about as a kid and never really, you never know if they're going to come to fruition until they do, right? And a couple, really memorable games for sure, competing with alongside some lifelong friends that I made, wearing the Canadian shirt. So very fond memories for sure.
So I just want to follow up on that question, Ben, because like I mentioned, you had your last cap, I believe, in 2017. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on the growth of the men's national team over these past 5 or so years, making the first World Cup in 36 years, qualifying for their first ever Copa America. What has it been like to watch this journey?
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible, man. I think in my days, unattached FC got thrown around a few times, right? But it's a funny one to bring up, but I really think that paints the picture of where we were at and where we've come now, right? Where and that's not to diminish the accomplishments of any of the players that were called up when they weren't with clubs, right? But that wouldn't be happening in today's national team. I think you see the quality and the depth that we have in the rosters. There's a lot of incredible Canadian players that aren't getting a sniff with the national team now, and that's not that they've done anything wrong. That's nothing against them. That's literally just that's how good we are and how deep we are these days. So as a fan of football and someone who's devoted my life to the game and a proud Canadian, there's no better feeling than watching our national team right now and going out every single game feeling like we're going to not only win but entertain and put on a good show. It makes me feel like a little kid, to be honest.
And Ben, before you got the chance to become a household name over here in the CPL, You had the chance to play in Europe. You played in Spain with Coruso, if I'm pronouncing correctly,
Not bad.
Deportivo de La Coruña. Then you
Yeah.
also went to Ireland, Derry City. What was it like to, as a young player, to get that chance to play in Europe? And what were some of those things you kind of took away from those different travels?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy, I think, student of the game. So I could tell you every single stop in my journey, what I've taken from that. I think Caruso was an amazing experience. And actually, the funny story is I went on trial with Deportivo de La Coruña before signing for Caruso, and they weren't interested at the time, but they said, well, they actually recommended me to Caruso. So it was a smaller second division team in the same region of Spain, and they said, we'll keep tabs on you, kind of thing. But that's really, I would say, my first experience kind of playing week in, week out at the professional level, and playing for a smaller club where it wasn't necessarily the most beautiful football all the time. We're coming through, a big academy at the Whitecaps. We were used to kind of dominating games and playing a very entertaining, possession-based brand of football. And then I went there, and I was expected to, track back like a racehorse and tackle and kind of scrap our way through games. And then you get your 5-6 moments in the game to show your magic and make something happen, right? So it was a really, really formative year for me of learning essentially how to win and get results, and in a different system than I was used to. That set me up. I was lucky enough to do well, score a few goals there, and then Deportivo kind of came back for me after that season. So from there, it was training week in, week out with a La Liga team. Video sessions, prepping how are we gonna take down MSN, right? Messi, Neymar, Suarez. That was the era. So you can imagine, as a young Canadian kid sitting in on those meetings, I'm like, geez, yeah, how are we going to do this, right? So I'd say that was, that's the taste that I had of the highest level. And I would say probably the year of my career where I've learned the most tactically and really kind of gave me the confidence to kind of become the player I think I've been through my career, where I try to play with my brain first and take on all those experiences that I've had to help my teammates and help the team each and every game, right? No game's the same. So those are those two. And then I think you asked about Derry as well.
Yeah. A little stint in Ireland.
Yeah, I like the sound of my own voice. I get talking. Yeah, I mean, Derry was a whirlwind, to be honest. I was only there 8 months, and in that time, I think 2 weeks after I signed, I started both legs of our Europa League qualifiers. We won away to Dinamo Minsk, which pretty big team in Eastern Europe. I think they had like 10, 11 times the budget that Derry City did. So not unlike a CPL team playing an MLS team, right? We went away to Minsk, and we actually got a standing ovation from their fans. It was pretty cool. We played them off the park. Played really, really well. One of the best games I've ever been involved in as a professional. Unfortunately, didn't go through on away goals, but really, really cool, memorable experience. And then ultimately, again, a few months after that, won the League Cup with Derry as well. So that was my first silverware as a professional. And again, I don't think I need to tell the listeners about winning a trophy in Ireland, what that might look like. They do love their pints there and love their live music and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good time. So let's leave it at that. Really, really fun couple months.
I find it interesting that your teammate David Norman Jr. has also won a cup. So I'm sure you guys have some stories of what that celebration was like there over in Ireland.
Definitely, we've joked. So he won the FA Cup, I won the League Cup. We've joked we just need to sign someone who's won the League of Ireland, and we'll have the treble within the VFC ranks. So it'd be pretty funny. Good storyline for sure.
That's something for the Vancouver scouts to keep an eye on. But
yeah.
Ben, you're heading into year 6 now, the Canadian Premier League. I'm curious to get what your thoughts are about the league and the growth and your experiences so far.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm, one of the guys that kind of took a risk on the league, coming back for year 1, coming off that year with Derry. Just been offered a new 2-year deal there until Rob Friend came calling, and just kind of sold me the dream of coming home. And I think for me, I've been with my wife since we're 18 years old. She's been with me everywhere, and we really saw an opportunity to come home. And of course, I get to keep playing and be a part of something so special. Hopefully, create a legacy, being a part of that inaugural season. but also be a part of the long-term growth of the Canadian game on the field, and then, career opportunities post-playing and that sort of thing. So honestly, it came down to an opportunity to pursue those long-term opportunities in a way that I didn't have to sacrifice the family side of things quite as much as my time abroad. So year one was the wild, wild west, I like to say. It was pretty crazy, pretty fun. I had a good year with Pacific, but just seeing the growth of the league year over year, I think has been pretty incredible on and off the field. I think all the front office people are doing an incredible job. Yourselves at One Soccer, everyone at CPL, everyone's doing their part to grow this thing, kind of one day at a time. And the fact that we've done it through a pandemic, again, kind of icing on the cake. It's pretty incredible what we've accomplished all together. So, and then, on the field, tactically, it's gotten better every single year. I think there's been a nice injection of new coaches. I think obviously with Afshin here, brings that international experience, and he's coached at the highest level. The guy's been at 3 World Cups. Pretty incredible. We've got him coaching in the CPL, right? So I think more and more hirings like that, and bringing in players with that type of experience as well. You've seen the growth year over year. So here's to year 6.
It's wild to say out loud. I still remember year 1, but
beauty
of growth and just everything we've seen, right? And
totally.
I guess just speaking of, now you're coming to Vancouver. You're coming as a CPL trophy winner. Last year, obviously, you had the chance to win a regular season title with Cavalry. What was that experience like, being on such a team like that, where you guys had such depth, the way you won the regular season, such a dominant victory, one with a couple weeks to spare? What was it like being part of a team like that?
Yeah, fun first and foremost. Everyone likes to be a part of a winning team, but going a bit deeper, I think Tommy and the staff there have done such a great job of building that culture and building sort of a foundation for the team to go out and put together results like that, right? I think we had a very different group, I guess, than when I started with Cavs in 2021. And you can really clearly, honestly see our evolution from 2021, my first season with them, to 2022, where I thought, we maybe underperformed a little bit for the squad we had. And 2023, it was kind of the culmination of my first 2 years there, where we really put it all together. Everyone was kind of firing on all cylinders. It felt like it didn't matter who played, right? We were getting goals from different guys week in, week out, and big players stepping up in big moments when we needed them. So it's kind of the perfect recipe to put together a year like that. And unfortunately, obviously, losing the final was a tough pill to swallow. But I think looking back on it, it's a pretty remarkable year that everyone was a part of it. We'll be proud of for a long time.
So I'm not sure if you know this, but you're actually the first CPL player to sign for 4 teams within the league. So I'm just curious to see what are some of the differences you've noticed from each club, and any you would like to share.
Yeah, everyone likes to remind me of that one.
Yeah, it's on the move. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it's a funny one. It's never anything I planned to bounce around so much. Like to think I'm a pretty loyal guy, actually. So maybe some irony there, but no, I think every club I've been at has been a little different. I was a part of 2 inaugural seasons, right? Pacific and Ottawa. So I think there's always a bit of an asterisk beside a club's first season, right? We saw it here with VFC last year as well. It really is tough to get the ship sailing, right? Both on and off the field. So I think I learned a lot from both of those experiences, as becoming a leader in the dressing room, and there's a lot of off-field stuff that plays into it as well, right? When the club's trying to get off the ground, that people don't see from the outside, but it does affect players, right? Things like food after training, and all those silly things that don't have an impact when it's a one-off, but when it's a whole season trying to figure those things out, it does impact your on-field product, right? So put all that together, and then ultimately, I was 2 years into the league. Really, all I cared about was winning, to be honest. And I looked at Tommy and Cavalry and the organization, and I saw my best opportunity to win some silverware. That was my conversation with Tommy when I signed in 2021 mid-season. I said, I want to win. How are we going to make it happen, kind of thing. And he sold me on it, and the rest was kind of history. Luckily, we got it done. I would have been pretty disappointed leaving without something to show for it. So very proud of my time there.
And obviously now at Vancouver FC, huge offseason. Yourself, you were one of the signees. But, there's a lot of BC talent signed. You obviously had David Norman Jr., who we mentioned, Paris G., another Vancouver guy. You got a youngster like Grady McDonald thrown into the mix. I'm kind of curious, what is it like to see this influx of British Columbia-based, Vancouver-based talent? And, how important will that be on the field? Because obviously a lot of talented guys who've got experience elsewhere, but also for the market to show that this is a local club that wants to really be rooted in community.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool storyline, right? It's a bunch of guys coming home. I think BC players, in some ways, have been overlooked in some way, shape, or form. We've all kind of gone elsewhere and plied our trade, so people at home maybe forget about us sometimes. So I think it'd be really, really cool to create that kind of local flavor. We'll all have our friends and family out. Guys like Zach Verhoeven, right? We just played a friendly last week, and he had a ton of friends and family out. They're all, calling in, buying season tickets, right? My family's the same. Callum Irving, David Norman, right? It creates a really kind of communal feel around the club where, of course, there's the fan base that we all get to know through the year, but it's pretty fun looking up and seeing your mom and dad and your siblings in the stands supporting you, right? And the fun part of it as well on the field is you got a bunch of guys who are going to die on that field before we're embarrassed or shown up, right? Because we're out representing our hometown, we're representing everything that we've worked for our whole careers, right? So there's a strong sense of pride in what we're doing, and I think between Rob Friend, Afshin, Jeevan Kang behind the scenes, I think we've got the leadership team to get us all pointed in the right direction and do something really special.
Makes for some good celebratory pints after the game, right? With all the families and friends there. Is that?
I don't partake in it.
No, don't partake. Okay, good answer here. But all right, Ben. So this is year 2, obviously, for Vancouver, and like you said, I think they've done some incredible work this offseason, bringing in a lot of good guys. So what is the goal for the team this year? Is it simply playoffs or bust, or anything that you'd like to share?
I think we'll keep our goals internal. I think we all know what the plan is for the year. We don't need to talk about it publicly, but I think you can see with the roster that's been assembled, you can see what our ambitions are, and I think we'll let our work on the field do the talking.
Well, Ben, obviously to end this off, you guys are obviously got a good team, and you're also going to look good on the field. We've been trying. It's been hard to bite our tongue about this. We got a kit back there. You're obviously rocking the new alternate kit. You also got the Eagle kit looking out. What is it? Just, first off, how special has it been to see some of the kits that you guys have been dropping, and also, strong meeting with the community. Of course, the Eagle kit represents, the Eagle and everything with the club. And then, of course, this new kit, the Cherry Blossoms kit, not only is it beautiful, but, helps support Pink Shirt Day out in Burnaby. It's going to, support anti-bullying for kids and in sports. How special is it to see the initiatives behind the kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, honestly. When I saw this kit, I was like, geez, it's one of the coolest kits I've ever had the chance to wear in my career. So I'm super excited to wear it in front of everyone at Willoughby here. The tying in the community aspects, I think, is something, especially as a local player, that's really important to me, right? It's my mom's a school principal, so lots of, connections there where we're doing school visits and all kinds of stuff. Everything we can do as a 2-year-old club, we have to ingrain ourselves in the community, right? And we want to be a club that invests more into the community than we take from it. So I think that starts with the little things, right? You can, of course, do something really cool like the jersey, donating proceeds to Pink Shirt Day. But, actions do speak louder than words, so that it's a big thing, but we also want to be consistent with that on a day-to-day basis where, like I said, investing in the schools, showing up to local clubs, working with the kids, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, setting a good example as the big dogs in town.
Yeah, some way I'm going to get my hands on that kit. I feel like the odd man out, but, I'll get it one day. But, Ben, thank you so much for the time and best of luck this season.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me on.